Hey guys, appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to watch this video. First off, I'm sorry about my voice. I'm a little bit hoarse. I've been dealing with some throat issues, so if I'm swallowing a lot and I'm kind of hard to hear a little bit, that's why. So I apologize for that. The second thing is there's like a million videos out there right now on the NFL and the national anthem stuff and all that. So I kind of want, if this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, I want to let you know that I'm not a sounding board. I'm not going to be a person who just echoes the thoughts of one political party's side or talking points. So I'm a far cry from perfect, but I do try to bring a different perspective and challenge you to think outside the box. So today, as I mentioned, the box is going to be the NFL and the national anthem. As I said earlier, I've been stuck at home for a couple of days. Been dealing with this throat thing, so I've had an inordinate amount of time to read stories and watch videos on social media. I've listened to and read conservative media figureheads blast players and coaches for their handling of the situation. I've watched numerous fans on Facebook, burn jerseys and swear off the NFL. I've read articles from the liberal press praising the position and actions of the players and coaches. Basically what I found on both sides of the aisle is just varying levels or degrees of ignorance. So let me provide you a couple of examples or situations that you may not have considered in their totality. So we're going to start off with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, he's the Steelers head coach. He pretty much managed to get everybody upset with him. He let the press know that his team would not be coming out onto the field until after the national anthem. So this news got everybody on the right riled up, to say the least. But did you actually listen to the reason for his decision to keep his players off of the field? Is it because he's a coward and doesn't want to deal with the situation? I don't think it's that. Is it because he is unpatriotic and doesn't love his country? No, I don't think it's that either. He actually explained exactly why he did what he did. Coach Tomlin wanted to do his job, which is to win a football game. As with any team sport, and I've played lots of team sports, and I've never heard otherwise than what I'm about to say. The cohesiveness of the team has a direct impact on the level at which the team performs. If you have someone like Alejandro Villanueva on the team, a decorated war veteran and Army Ranger, do you think he's going to take kindly to people who, perhaps in his judgment, are disrespecting the country that he has fought to defend? What if one of those people kneeling is his quarterback or his running back? He's an offensive lineman. His job is to protect them. Do you really want to harbor frustrations or ill will towards one of those people you're supposed to be protecting? Now, certainly someone like Villanueva has the work ethic to overcome that hurt or irritation that his teammates may be causing him and do his job regardless. But can the same thing be said for all players on the team or all players on every team? Coach Tomlin decided that rather than subject his players to potential division, he just removed them from the situation so they could focus on the task at hand, which is winning a football game. That's what they're getting paid to do, and that's what they should be doing. So basically that explains why when Villanueva decided to come out of the tunnel against Tomlin's wishes during the national anthem, it angered Tomlin. It's not because he was showing respect to the country that he was angry. It's because he was disrespecting his coach, his team, and he was providing a friction point that did not need to be there. The fact is that Villanueva could have stood in the tunnel, outside of the public eye, away from the cameras, and respected his country while honoring his coach's wishes. The initial response from the right was to praise Villanueva. His jersey sales soared as a result, but then the day later he issued an apology. And the reason that he issued an apology was because he messed up. The right thing to do when you make a mistake is to issue an apology, and just like that, everybody on the right hated him. So let's talk about the next scenario really quick. The Dallas Cowboys. As I'm sure you know, the Dallas Cowboys as a team knelt prior to the national anthem. And I find this interesting because a lot of the headlines didn't read it that way. They kind of left out that prior to part. But so prior to the national anthem, the entire team, including the owner Jerry Jones, knelt. Then all the players stood for the anthem. I don't think that prior to what happened this past weekend that any Cowboy had knelt during the national anthem. But there may have been some that wanted to kneel and didn't want to, divide the team, so they chose not to do that. So what the Cowboys decided to do for the entire team was to kneel prior to the anthem, stand up for the anthem. Now, it may just be me, but I think that's both reasonable and respectful. I also think the Steelers' solution was too. Now, I'll admit for me that the kneeling stuff is nonsense and does nothing to further any cause. Likewise, whether a player kneels or stands has zero effect on my life. It doesn't make me like or dislike football any more than I already do. It's not going to keep me from watching games when I have the desire to do so. If a commentator begins to annoy me, I'm just going to hit the mute button until they get back to football. The media generally gives you two choices. They're going to tell you that you've got to choose one side of the aisle or the other. And some of the time that decision's clear and it aligns with one side or the other. But most of the time, you should probably choose neither. Most of the time, you should remove yourself from the situation, put yourself in someone else's shoes, and do a little bit of critical thinking. So what I want to ask you, or the question I pose to you, is this one of those situations that is a some of the time event, or is this a most of the time event? Is the media telling you the truth, or are they not? Is this one of those instances when you should remove yourself from the situation, put yourself in Coach Tomlin's shoes, or put yourself in the shoes of a Dallas Cowboy who wanted to kneel and step outside the box? Use some critical thinking. I'm thinking this could be one of those most of the times and not one of those some of the times. So hope you enjoyed my perspective on it, and hopefully I'll have some more content for you coming up in the near future. Thanks.